against Ness, but no Greninjas on screen. Instead, it's going to be Cognitive Gaming's Wizrobe versus GameWorks Foul.
I find that Sheik is the perfect fit for Wizrobe in this regard. Because with this character, you get awesome combo strings. You get the ability to just dictate the pace. You can also choose to not approach. It's perfect. It's just a well-rounded character for someone like him.
I look at where Ness is really excel, and generally speaking, that's when they're on the stage, whenever they're able to come in with those quick aerials, those grabs, those dash attacks, even to some extent those falling up airs. But where Nesses are really exploitable is off stage, and that's why I think that Sheik has a bit of an edge in this matchup. Think about it, especially in the early game. All of Sheik's combos force Ness off stage, and on a stage like Smashville, it can even lead into death, even if the Gimp opportunity doesn't present itself.
Excellent call out on the air dodge. Yet again, the traditional mix-up that we keep talking about. Either they air dodge and you go for the vanish, or they don't and you go for the up air. And sometimes it's that next level where you just wait. Honestly, waiting, really strong option in this game, believe it or not.
Like we've been saying, we haven't seen Foul really touch the ground in quite some time. He's been off stage most of the time, and when he is on stage, he's usually backed into this corner, and Wizzy has just been able to put on so much percent because of it. Great nair coming out from Wizzy. He knows that so many Nesses love to use that PK Thunder just to put on a little bit of distance from afar, so he throws out the nair, eats up the PK Thunder, doesn't take any damage in the process, and little options like that is why he's really holding on to these two stocks, but Foul might start having some answers, puts it back on the stage, misses the up tilt, but gets the back throw and gets the stock.
That up B was important primarily for the ability to position Wizrobe to get back on the stage, but have it in a position where he's still in hit stun or he's at disadvantage. And the confirms of grab from Ness are so important. That's an example right there. Oh, and you saw that moment. If he had managed to connect with PK Thunder right back on him, he would have seen a lot more percentage being built up on Wizrobe.
Let's take a step back and talk about this game as a whole. Because even though Wizzy has this great lead, I still say that Foul can come back and he can make some big plays happen. Primarily because when you think about Sheik, they really struggle sometimes when it comes to getting those KOs. But a character like Ness is built for KOs. They have so many great KO options, be it the aerials, be it off of the grabs. So if I can maybe find the right openings in neutral, if we can see some good punishes from him, then maybe he can get the percent where it needs to. And if those percents are tied, he definitely has an edge going into late game. But
that's what I was looking for. That's exactly what I was looking for.
Not even giving him a chance. That bouncing fish connecting exactly when it needed to and taking that final stock.
Do you know why that worked? Specifically, because he had not shown that threat the entire match. He specifically said, I'm holding off on this, because something like that becomes only more powerful when it's more and more distant from people's mind. Granted, that is the ender that a lot of people think of when it comes to Sheik, but no, he doesn't know the spacing on how he likes to do it. For instance, Karna, we usually see him do forward throw immediately into bouncing push. Wizrobe, you don't know when he wants to do it. So like, keeping that information withheld really helped in the long term to get that game on the board, and Wizrobe is now looking pretty one game in.
I already hear neighbors screaming somewhere, "You're shouldn't take a Sheik to Smashville." But Foul instead saying, you know what? If I can get my early game started, then I can be a threat just like you are. Using that PK Thunder 2 to get back onto the center stage. And Wizzy, he's not even bother approaching yet. Instead, using those needles to say, hey, you come to me.
Yeah, it's one of the tools that Sheik and some of these other characters have, but not really quite at the same level. But excellent three-piece and the ability to try to cover this stage. Wizrobe is now sitting at the mercy of Foul. There it is, the back air. Now, all that Foul is trying to do is just hold on to this stage. This is the exact opposite of what we saw last game, because Wizrobe was doing the exact same thing to him and not allowing him to get his feet on the ground, not allowing him to play his game. I really like the commitment, and I like the adjustment that I'm seeing. Great nair to take out that stock.
I think that Foul was trying to cover the dash-in grab, and utilizing a short hop nair like that was just so smart because it has that nice little lingering hitbox, and it comes out very quickly as well. But here comes Wizzy, trying to maybe start some of these Tinder combos, gets the match and the balloon as well.
Oh my goodness, you saw that. So he covered two options there. He covered the get up onto the stage as well as the roll on. Of course, that punished the roll on, as you saw as a result. Where's the follow-up, though? Wizzy trying to hold stage advantage, trying to use that lingering nair hitbox. Whoa, there it is. Bouncing Fish was there for the positioning, though, in order to finish off with that aerial. An advantage to take him from the bottom to the top.
For a second, I thought that he lost his double jump, but it didn't even matter. Wizrobe did such a great job of taking away a lot of Fao's recovery mix-up options, putting him in that single position, and then having the answer right there whenever he was forced to commit.
Oh my gosh.
Wizzy.
Okay, follows up, and he's going to go for those fairs. No, the lingering nairs. I love seeing the commitment, though, from Wizrobe to be able to go
when you shouldn't commit. Certainly an executional error on Wizrobe's fault. By no means was he trying to launch that grenade.
Yeah, that wasn't willing seppuku. Like, that wasn't good. That was him trying to go down. Yeah, I think he was trying to vanish back up, but you already could tell that I think he fastballed accidentally, and then he kind of drifted way too close to the blast zone. I don't know what happened. That's strange. That's kind of uncharacteristic, especially that kind of an ST. So that's all right. We're going to take that game. We take those.
We take those.
We take those, and we move on.
And we're going to be moving on to game number 3. Tied 1 apiece here. And both these players seem very content and very comfortable on Smashville.
Yeah, I don't blame them. It's a fun stage. Granted, you can get some crazy things with Sheik, but like this, like the Tinder combos. Keep on swiping right, homie. Well, here's the follow-ups that we're looking for. And the drop back fairs, these are pretty interesting to see because the fair covers so much spacing all directly in front of him.
And now we're seeing why Fao is so comfortable to play on Smashville. Anything you can do, I can do better. He has fairs for Wizzy's fairs. And he's made up that in damage. Wizrobe trying to tie things up, ends up taking the lead instead of the back air. Pushing Fo off stage. Great there, baby! Wizrobe was not prepared. No text. I was able to draw a really quick stock.
But that, and it wasn't even the fact that he was too close. You literally have to be hugging the ledge to not have the ability to tech because the knockback overlaps on top of the tech window. He was more than capable to tech there. And we just didn't expect it.
We've seen Wizzy actually get surprised from Ness twice. Once whenever it was an on-stage interaction, whenever he was trying to get the dash grab. And the second time was whenever he was off-stage, bro. Trying to use that PK Thunder, but so smart from Wizzy. I love the utilization of the up air to get him out. Great vanish. Not going to be able to take the stock, though. Unfortunately, sending Fo to the right instead of the left. He's still dropping down. And that time, look at what he's doing. He's using and putting out an active hitbox just to tell Wizzy he can't stay in that zone for free. But Wizzy, unaffected, drops down, gets the fair, gets the stock.
Gosh. Okay, the 3-piece from Fo and the ability to kind of push in and coerce him. I like, though, the patience from Wizrobe. Trying to just wait, see where the options are, see where Fo is going to be, and then try to put an aerial there. Because Sheik has these super long limbs, man. And you can really use those to your advantage against someone who has as stubby limbs as Ness. But threatening with those back airs, threatening with those fairs, trying to get as horizontal as possible while being safe.
This damage lead that Fo has can be taken away so quickly. If Wizzy can maybe get one of these grabs, it's going to be a lot of damage. If he can get a fair as well, but as you can see, he's having such a hard time in the air. He's not really being given any breathing room. These PK Thunders are continuing to put on that little bit of damage, and it gets him closer and closer to that back throw kill percent.
Now, folks, the reason why you're seeing these come out is particularly just for the damage and forcing your opponent into situations where they don't want to be in, that they're not comfortable. This isn't the trajectory that they had in mind. So, of course, that's when Wizrobe is going to be able to try to come around and have to figure out his way around and navigate through those mazes of electricity.
I love the patience from Wizzy. You notice that he just waited to pull the trigger, waited for the defensive option, was right there to capitalize.
I thought he was just going to do Rising Nair there through the platform to catch him.
Maybe some signs of life here, actually, for Wizzy. Fo at 80%, and Wizzy's dropping down with the bear. He has to use the recovery here, able to weave around, but he gets hit with advantage, and Wizzy ends up making a fantastic comeback despite some early game setbacks.
We started from the bottom, now we're here. Game number 4, right here. Oh my gosh, that was awesome. And it's the same exact situation that we saw previously, where we saw Fo go deep, we saw Wizzy go out there, and he's fearless, man. Went out there with the vanish and takes him out. I really enjoy seeing that he's not afraid to use these tools in more than the usual places.
And that's what you gotta do as Sheik. You have to utilize your excellent edge guarding capabilities, especially against a character who's pretty frail off stage. And Wizzy doing that has made it so that Fo is having a very difficult time. All of those combos, the fact that Sheik just has this intrinsic tool set that leads you off stage makes this a bit of a nightmare for Fo. But he's been able to deal with really good Sheiks in the past. He can definitely do it again here.
Excellent fair spacing from both of these guys, funny enough. And now Fo is doing his best to just continually pester. They both like putting each other above each other and then just having these nice normals to cover those spaces. Whoa, contesting there with that drop.
That's really big too with that falling up air, because now Wizzy might be conditioned to put up a shield instead, and that's where Foe might start getting some grabs and getting some damage and maybe even some kills. Another surprise nair off stage. Wizzy has not done the best job of dealing with that option, but he has overall been doing a good job of dealing with some of these edge guards.
He tried to, I would imagine that Wizrobe was going to try to drop down nair or drop down back air. As soon as you see someone hugging tightly to the edge, or at least getting closer to that range, I would imagine that these guys are quick to go out there and at least put something out there to stuff them, especially a character like Ness that doesn't have active hitboxes immediately.
Wizzy,
back throw is done. Man, sends him into the hemisphere. Wizrobe, though, quick to respond. Yet again, using Bouncing Fish as a movement tool. It's great to see when Sheiks use Bouncing Fish towards the just offset of the middle of the stage, because that puts them off stage in a position where if Foe had been trying to hug or get a little bit closer, that cuts them off very easily.
So good. Sheik's rapid jabs are so easy to DI.
Oh my God! I do not believe this. Ness is blasting off again. Wow.
That was remarkable. Oh, we have to watch that one again. Throws the up air out, forces the jump, and look at that weave. He air dodges to avoid the PK Thunder. Foe picks this up and says, you know what? That was the nail in the coffin. That was the nail in the coffin.
And that's not the first time we saw him try to do that. He tried to do that in game 1 and didn't get a chance. Because you saw him get stuffed out early, this time it actually goes through, and the kill option's there. That was so sick.
And it's definitely possible that he wasn't even intending on hitting Wizzy, because we've noticed that if he misses with the PK Thunder, he doesn't want to be hit with a falling aerial.
Right.
So PK Thunder 2 as a burst movement sort of option, but Wizzy just happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time. And Foe is granted a little bit more leniency. Game number 5 underway, and Wizrobe already starting off pretty strong. He had a nice amount of stage control, and he's very content to go and combo Foe from one side of the stage to the other.
Excellent jab to F-tilt, to fair, to nair, to up air, to
wow.
no stock.
Wizzy,
80%, dude. Are you kidding me? This character's great. Now, while Sheik does not necessarily hit hard with those individual normals, when they combine together, you get these ridiculous results like you're seeing here.
Now as we're approaching towards the end game of this first stock, we gotta note the fact that Wizzy has done a good job of calling out the air dodges, but he hasn't been able to account for the aerial drift yet. The surprise moving platform, not sure if it helped or hindered Foe. He's able to air dodge away from that up air. It could have meant certain death. Wizzy getting another grab.
Look for the threat. That was a threat right there for the back air, trying to drop, see if you're going to see Foe jump back for the tournament winner. And yet again, there's the nair. He tries to make sure that he's facing it just so that he's on the shield whenever you see the normal get up.
Oh, and an executional error. You know, Wizrobe had one that cost him game number 2, if I remember correctly, so it's only fair, I suppose, that Foe returns the favor.
Yeah.
But in game number 5, it's not what you'd like to see, especially on a stage like this. Forward air strings.
And there's the nair to retort. Whoa. Interesting. Last second, he guessed that Wizrobe would just overshoot the ledge and he would be able to catch him with the yo-yo.
Perhaps if he had pulled the trigger a hairpin of a second earlier, it would have been able to finish that stock. But Wizzy instead able to hang in there and able to put on even more damage. Oh, wow. That was so smart. The quick get-up. And Wizzy had expected it, but he just mistimed his grab. Folks had a little bit of invulnerability, I believe. And his hitbox hadn't really fully come out yet. Because of that, falls victim to that back throw. Foe back into this game, but definitely at quite the disadvantage. The bouncing fish, it doesn't grant him a kill, but it gives him a nice amount of control over the stage. And look at the nair continuing to put on that pressure and continue to put Foe in a bad position.
Excellent job yet again. The vanish underneath the stage. No surprise here. Wizrobe constantly on the offensive. And he's still looking primed and ready to go here. Are we going to see another vanish? No.
Not yet. The nairs. Foe has not been able to get around those. Wizzy, another great vanish. Foe off stage, having to fight his way out of this corner. Wizzy getting another big grab, and this time he's not even going for these 50-50s. He's just focusing more so on trying to exploit Ness whenever it comes to Ness's recovery.
Attempting to snap ledge there and force a trump from Foe, but unfortunately now we're back to this neutral game, and both of these guys are they're scared out of their minds because a connection from either one of them can really be fatal. Granted, Foe has a lot more work that he has to do.
Forward throw coming out from Wizzy, but Foe able to weave just past it. He's going to use the PK Thunder too. He makes it back onto the stage, but I don't know how much longer he's going to be able to avoid Wizzy. He's been so on point with his edge guard game overall. He just hasn't found the right connection. Gets another big back air.
Nearly there. He's going to go for the vanish.
And look at the weave back from Foe. He expected the aerial to come in. Big F tilt coming out, but Foe still hanging on to this life. How much longer? How much longer can he survive? If he gets one grab here, it could change everything.
This is such a touch type moment. Good job. He pestered him a little bit there. He said, even now at the ledge, I'm not afraid to attack you. A wolf, even in the corner, still has fangs.
We can expect the fares from Wizzy, but he's being a bit patient, going for some of these empty hops just to keep Foe on his toes.
Expect Nair out of shield from both of these characters, though, if they're pressured too much and the overextension happens.
Here comes some needles from Wizzy. Has to push the advantage as much as he can, but Foe
He gets right! He gets right, but the wrong execution!
Yeah, he just was just barely misspaced. He knew that the roll-in was coming, but wasn't in the right position. Foe, can he really make this comeback happen? Wizzy only needs one real opening.
Oh, he tries to stop the dive kick. He did it for the anti-air. There's the back air. No, he misses. The Fair's not going to be able to kill him with a knockback. He's still living here.
How is Foe still hanging on to the stock? Wizzy dropping really deep, but Foe, he gets the stage back, and there's the pop-off from Foe. Somehow, fighting back from the depths of hell, he gets the stage spike, he gets the stock, and he gets the set.
Even at those last moments, Foe had enough in the tank to take it over Cognitive Gaming's Wizrobe, and you can tell how much this means to him. What a nail biter, especially at that particular side of the stage. We've seen stock after stock after stock being shed and torn apart by Wizrobe when it's phenomenal edge guarding, but he holds it together and takes that game.
That's what I call unbending will, Neptune. Because we saw so many times throughout that set that Wizrobe was on fire when it came to those edge guards. And he said, look, you have no answers. You are my prey. You are my puppet whenever you are off of this stage. And Foe said, not today. Not today. Time and time again. He tried fighting